Anyway, here at the very latest, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is with us. All right, it's beyond extraordinary. We have talked about the FBI and meeting with big tech, but we got to do a timeline here. The FBI had Hunter's laptop in December of 2019. John Solomon reports they verified it in the spring of 2020. Why was the FBI then? We know the case of Missouri. The Twitter integrity site head, Yoel Roth, why was he saying and warning Twitter that the disinformation may be about Joe or Hunter Biden? That's the FBI side of it. Let's go to that first.
Right. Well, yeah, they were pre-bunking a story that they knew was likely to come out. They were telling big tech, hey, be on the lookout for a hack and leak operation. It's going to happen in October of 2020, right before the presidential election, and it will involve Hunter Biden. And you're like, how did they know? How could they forecast the future? Well, it's because they had the laptop, so they were getting everyone ready for this. And then, of course, the clincher, Sean, is the letter that came from the 51 former intel officials that you just referenced.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what we have here. The CIA itself, meaning active agents, may have assisted in getting the 51 former intel community officials to sign on to a laptop. It took John Brennan, I think Mike Morrell wrote him 19 minutes later. John Brennan was like, sure, I'll be glad to sign on to something he knew nothing about, knowing that that would have an impact on the election. What have we learned now?
Well, we know the CIA reviewed and approved the letter when Mike Morrell sent it to him. We also know that there was a person on this review board who contacted one of the individuals who signed the letter. He had something else pending in front of this review board. He called him up and said, hey, would you be willing to sign this letter, and read it to this individual, David Carrions, who winds up signing the letter. So not only did they review and approve the letter, they were actively soliciting, recruiting people to sign on. This is the CIA of President Trump, while President Trump is president, running for the highest office in the land, approving a letter, reviewing a letter, and then recruiting other people to sign on to the letter that was designed to help Joe Biden in the upcoming debate. That is not supposed to happen. That is wrong as can be.
Is it a fair statement to say that the FBI and the CIA knowingly tried to interfere in the 2020 election to assist and help Joe Biden?
Well, I do know this. The FBI seems to get involved in every election. 2016, it was the dossier in the Russia. 2018, it was the Mueller investigation. 2020, it was this story. 2022, they raid President Trump's home 91 days before the election. Maybe it'd be nice if they just let we, the people, decide who we want to elect. But think about what the CIA did. This was a person who works in the CIA calling up someone else who's got something pending, by the way, in front of the review board. In some ways, you could even say, was this in any way a quid pro quo? Hey, we're calling you up to say your publication, a different book that you're doing, is approved. Would you be willing to sign on to this letter? That's frightening stuff. Now, maybe it's just some agent who got things wrong. I don't know. Who made a big mistake. I don't know. But it happened according to what this individual who signed the letter sent us in an email to the committee. And you couple that with everything else we know, that the Biden campaign, Tony Blinken, called up Mike Morrell and said, hey, look into this Russia situation. Send him a story from USA Today. He starts running with it, puts together the letter. After the letter is used for what Mike Morrell told us was, I want to help Joe Biden in the debate. I want Joe Biden to be the next president. After that debate's over, Mike Morrell gets a call from the Biden campaign from Steve Ricchetti, and he says, thank you for doing that. The campaign chair, Steve Ricchetti, thanks Morrell. So that's all what we now have uncovered and put out in this report.
Do you have any idea what James Comer is going to reveal to the country tomorrow? He has asked the AG, he has asked law enforcement not to indict Hunter Biden until information is released tomorrow. Are you aware what that information is?
They're going to cite everything that the committee has looked at relative to bank records. And again, understand the basics here. 170 suspicious activity reports, thousands of pages of bank records, 20 LLCs that the Biden family formed that got all kinds of money, millions of dollars from foreign entities. That money was paid to multiple people in the Biden family, Joe's brother, his son, his sister-in-law, his daughter-in-law, paid to all kinds of people in the Biden family. And again, as we've talked about before, Sean, the fundamental question is, what did they do to warrant receipt of the money? What service did they provide? What value did they add? What business did they actually run? What were they doing? No one seems to be able to answer that question. And then we have on top of that this alleged whistleblower report, this 1023 form that we're hopefully going to get from the FBI that Mr. Comer has asked the FBI to give tomorrow. We'll see if they provide that report.
All right. Is there any evidence that Joe Biden may have performed certain actions and been rewarded financially? Have we been able to trace any of this money? You talk about the 170 suspicious activity reports. James Comer's talked about over 20 LLCs used to pay family members. Do we have any indication that Joe Biden in any way benefited financially? And were any acts taken by him for that money that he might have received or his family might have received?
Well, I think we have to wait and see, Sean, because this is what the whistleblowers alleged to Senator Grassley. This is what Mr. Comer and Mr. Grassley wrote the FBI about. The FBI is supposed to get back to them tomorrow morning. So we'll wait and see if, in fact, the FBI gets back to them and answers that fundamental question. But that's what the whistleblower has alleged, who came to Senator Grassley. We'll just have to see what we find out tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. The alleged whistleblower. Anyway, Chairman Jordan, thank you. Big news tonight.